Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This show is brought to you by DraftKings, and every Friday at this time during the football season, Adam Chernoff joins the program. Excellent at analyzing and handicapping the National Football League. You can get his podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. It's called The Simple Handicap. Adam, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I am still bewildered by the tweet that you sent last evening. Should we talk about it?
Sure, we can. What do you mean you find it fascinating? Are you intrigued by it? Do you want to try a Pop-Tart like I suggested on X last night?
It's the first time I've ever heard someone use the adjective incision when referencing a dessert. And so that caught me off guard to begin with. But So just explain this logic to me and everybody who read that tweet, because I think there's questions here. So you're taking, yes, I'm glad we can pull it up on the screen. So you're taking something that is this sugar-riddled and complementing it with a slab of butter. Is this correct? How is this working out?
How can you go wrong with that much sugar and butter on anything that's warm and toasty like that? Now, full disclosure, I have not eaten a Pop-Tart in probably more than a decade. But when I used to eat them, I mean, they were delicious. And my tip would be, as soon as it comes out of the toaster, you grab it, you take the knife, and you slice it just like right down the middle like that. And you can make as many incisions into the Pop-Tart as you would like, and then you just take the warm butter and you spread it over the Pop-Tart equally, and then the butter seeps into the cut of the Pop-Tart, and it connects with all of that gooey like frosting that's inside the Pop-Tart, and it just it takes it to an entirely different level. Here, my Midwest is going to show here. Maybe an ice cold glass of milk as well to complement the Pop-Tart. It is phenomenal, Adam.
And this is like ambiguous with any flavor. There's no specific one you have to go with. This is open game for any of them.
The ones that I recall eating, the blueberry it worked well with. I don't like some of the flavors, to be honest, of Pop-Tart, so I didn't try them all. Brown sugar was the best one, the brown sugar flavored Pop-Tart. And if you can find like a cinnamon flavored butter and put that over, that would be heavenly.
Cinnamon butter.
Yes.
Okay, this is almost as offline as your tomato comment back from week one. People will remember, where you were adamant that you could taste specific tomatoes based on country of origin line. So
yes.
We're going off the rails here for the second time in the season.
It's okay. He's going to do this. He's going to do this and put it on X too. He's
I'll
going to
make a video of it. Yeah.
This is unbelievable. You think they got their money's worth with the advertising? What they did with the bowl game?
Was the mascot not a bit of a letdown? Like, I don't know what I expected when you're hearing the edible mascot all week, but he just kind of fell in the toaster, and then it's this giant fake Pop-Tart.
Well, I feel bad for the guy. I know. He goes in the toaster. He comes out there eating, the poor kid.
Well, how about the trophy, by the way?
Yeah.
With the slots and then the two Pop-Tarts at top of the football?
Yeah.
That's as good as it gets.
Absolutely.
All-timer.
Incredible.
All-timer.
I'll stop today after the show, pick up a box of Pop-Tarts, and I'll try to have a video out sometime.
Got to do that.
Today. All right. Let's begin with the game that we have tomorrow night. Dallas at home to Detroit. Here at Circa, Cowboys 4.5 this morning. Take us through this here. Who you initially liked in this game? Are you surprised by the movement and where we're at today?
So it's going to be a segment here that is lacking a lot of conviction, unfortunately. But this is a week where it's late in the year, so you always have a lot of back and forths between different people in the market and numbers moving, which makes it difficult. But this is a game I was looking at, and immediately as Detroit clinches and then you see the Cowboys lose to the Dolphins in the fashion that they did, this was waiting for openers and saying, there's got to be a way to fade Detroit here in this spot. It's the first time in 30 plus years they clinch it. It's the Dan Campbell ascension and finally getting back into the playoffs. It's this team that's been a loser for years, now finally becoming a winner. And it's the week after all of that, going on the road to play in Dallas. It's just a spot that you would love to traditionally bet against, especially when it's a Cowboys team that has just lost twice on the road, going back home to where their offense works better. They run more plays per game. They're more explosive, right? It's like all of these things coming together. And so I was looking at this thing. Are we going to get this Cowboys -4? Are the Cowboys going to be downgraded? Are we going to see their rating dropped? Are we going to see the Lions bumped up? And the fact was we got neither. The Cowboys stayed rated essentially the same as they have. There's been very little downgrade the last 2 weeks, and we didn't see the Lions get bumped. And the Lions win, quite frankly, over the Vikings. outgained by 2.5 yards per play, which kind of at this point in time in the NFL market is enough to say is a bit of a fraudulent win in a number of ways, also aided by a ton of turnovers. So I guess it makes sense, but it's just at this number, even at 4.5, it's not a comfortable spot to fade the Cowboys. It's Goff against a defense that runs a ton of man that they can absolutely run on. I think there's a path for the Lions to move the football enough. And I think for the Cowboys, although they might have a monster game with Ferguson and Lamb matched up against this Lions defense, which is struggling to stop anybody, it's too big of a number. I think the Cowboys still priced a little bit higher than they should be. And it's unfortunately a great spot to fade the Lions, but I couldn't do it at this price. So it's sadly a stay away for me, but that's kind of how I'm looking at this game. It'll be a good one to watch Saturday night with both offenses moving.
All right. How about Sunday night? Losers done. And a ton of professional money on Minnesota last week, and they were losers. But Mullins had no problems moving the ball on Detroit. I don't agree with the quarterback change. You're putting a rookie in a tough spot here, although the Green Bay defense has been horrible. What do you think Sunday night?
The guys, 9 straight conference wildcard team matchups over the last 3 weeks. We've talked about it the last couple of weeks where you get these conference games with 2 teams essentially on the brink of elimination, and you're getting more plays per game. You're getting more passing percentages per game. You're getting a lot more tempo per game for the teams trailing. These games keep flying over the total, and it hasn't mattered who's been at starter. We've seen Mason Rudolph as a third stringer get a game way over the total. We've seen Houston with Case Keenum and Davis Mills play to a game way over the total. It's just these games keep flying because they're playing so differently. This game got absolutely smashed over on the openers Christmas Eve. 43.5 was blasted. 44 was taken out. Got as high as 47 before the QB news yesterday. And Pauly, I agree with you. I would have kept Mullins in after going for 7.5 yards of play against the Lions. But O'Connell just hates turnovers. Following the Dobbs game pre-bye when he had the 4-interception game, he was talking about how the quarterback decisions going forward were going to be made over who is likely to turn the ball over less. It just drives him nuts. And so we saw Mullins, despite 2 big games in terms of offensive output and moving the football and finding explosive plays, now find the bench because these turnovers is just something O'Connell can't live with. I don't know a lot about Jaren Hall, but I don't have any confidence or any reason to justify why Mullins to Hall would be a 3-point drop to a total or a 2-point drop to the side. I don't know if Nick Mullins was that valuable under center. So speaking from the total, we are now on the other side of 44 after getting to 47. That to me is too big of an adjustment. So I like the over here. I think this Packers defense is incredibly fraudulent. And if you want to kind of look and say, like, I don't know what Jaren Hall is. Well, we've just seen Bryce Young and Baker Mayfield and Tommy DeVito, who probably aren't each a whole lot better nor worse than what Jaren Hall might be. And all 3 of those guys had monster games against this Packers defense. So to me, it's not super concerning with the QB switch from the total perspective. But now that it's on the other side of 44, I just think this has moved far too much. I'll play another one of these wild card games over. Let's go over 43.5.
All right, very good. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Adam Chernoff. Follow him on X there at his name, at Adam Chernoff. His podcast is called The Simple Handicap. Talk us through this Colts-Raiders game after what Las Vegas did on Christmas Day to keep their playoff hopes alive and to play like that defensively and do nothing, by the way, on the other side of the ball and not complete a pass for the final 3 quarters and walk out of Arrowhead with a win, which, I mean, whoever would think like something like that would be possible? And now they have to go play an indie team who just got buried against Atlanta last week.
Okay, there's the spot in this one, and then there's some underlying metrics that I think are pretty interesting too. So this is, for me, easy decision on the Colts. -3.5, even if you can find 3 -20. Either way, Colts are absolutely the side in this one. So let's talk about the spot. Like you mentioned, they go into Arrowhead. Anyone who was watching that Christmas morning, early Christmas afternoon, maybe you're doing gifts with the family, whatever the situation was. If you caught the very end of the game, you saw Antonio Pierce crying on the sideline, crying in the post-game interview. It was full-on celebratory atmosphere amongst the Raiders players in the locker room after the game. That game meant so much to the Raiders. And in the fashion that it occurred and how it played out, it was such a phony victory aided by those turnovers that it's kind of hard to believe that they got out of Arrowhead with the result that they did. And why I start to kind of use the word phony in terms of the win, Aidan O'Connell, since taking over as the starter for the Raiders, in that time, there have been 40 quarterbacks that have started an NFL game. Aidan O'Connell in EPA plus completion percentage over expectation, a really good quarterback judgment metric. Aidan O'Connell ranks 40th of 40 qualifiers, dead last in the NFL. And we've seen some horrible backup quarterbacks come through the league. He is doing nothing on a weekly basis. And now the expectation is, following a game where he completed 9 passes, he's going on the road in this sort of letdown spot on a short week to play a Colts team that has to have this game to get into the playoffs. I don't buy it. Jonathan Taylor, big game coming for him, running against this Raiders defense that gives up a ton of yardage. Raiders are going to be such a popular and trendy side that everybody wants to be on. I'll happily be on the other one here with the Colts. I think this number is too low. I think the matchup is too good. And I get the better team with the better coach, with the better quarterback, laying a short number at home against the bad defense here. I'll take the Colts here pretty happily.
Pauly brought this up earlier in the show. The Raiders are making a huge mistake by not going back to Jimmy G. And it seems like with their playoff lives on the line, okay? I mean, yeah, O'Connell has done nothing.
Zero.
At all. So we'll continue with Adam Chernoff coming up next. Is there a chance that we see Clayton Tune for Arizona against the Eagles? If so, where does this number go? We'll ask him next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Before you make your next bet, be sure to visit vsin.com to check the current betting splits data. Want to know where the money and bets are moving every NFL or bowl game? It's updated with DraftKings odds every 5 minutes, so you can see changes in all the action. Find out where the public's betting based on the number of tickets and where the money doesn't match the public opinion. Always improving our betting splits. Recently added soccer betting splits from around the world, and there's a great soccer card today. Betting splits another way. We're here to make you smarter, better year-round. Check it out every game. vsin.com/splits.
As we continue with Adam Chernoff, you can get his podcast. It's called The Simple Handicap. Also, he does a lot of free content. He writes up all the games on a weekly basis at the Right Angle Sports app as well for your phone. This Philly-Arizona number has been all over the place, dipped down to Eagles -9.5 earlier in the week. Then it comes out Kyler Murray is sick. At this point, we said this too, like earlier in the show. Why just sit him down? Don't play him you don't want to win one of these games, and you certainly don't want him to get hurt. Is there a chance that he doesn't go and Clayton Tune starts in this game? If so, where does this number go, in your opinion?
Yeah, speculation on my point. I have nothing confirmed on this. I think there's a growing chance that he may miss this game. I would probably put it in that 20 to 25% range if I had to guess, just on the fact that he's missed both days of practice. But I am very confident that there will be sort of a performance dip on field because he has been labeled with the illness, and it's something that's very difficult to quantify or to look at, unlike, say, if you have a hamstring injury or a concussion. There's much more like concrete numbers onto how that impact is going to be on field. But what I will say is, as someone who is looking at this on a daily basis, tracking these injuries, looking at performance in games, there has been this illness tag slapped on a number of players for the last 4 to 5 weeks. And in almost every single instance, it has had a significant impact on the performance of that player in the game that week. It's mattered a ton. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know what the significance of it is, but you're just seeing guys not 100%. And when I look at Kyler Murray, since he took over as a starter and came back from injury, last segment we talked about O'Connell in that metric, 40 of 40 for how he ranks. Now, Murray draws a smaller sample of QBs. There's 35 when you look at all the quarterbacks that have played since Murray returned, but only 2 quarterbacks have been worse in this time since Murray returned, and it is Aidan O'Connell and Sam Howell. So it's not like Murray right now at 100% is in any esteemed company. I think he's a much worse quarterback than he's probably discussed as. And if you have this illness that delays prep and practice coming into the week, I think it's going to make him a little bit worse than he actually already is. And so the Eagles, I thought, showed pretty well against the Giants, more than 6 yards per play, yard per play better, double them in first downs. It was just turnovers and kind of bad luck with two of them that really set up the Giants for short scores, the big play. Otherwise, that would have been an Eagles cover. And so Eagles now at home hosting the Cardinals outdoors with Murray less than 100%, potentially Marquise Brown going to miss another game as well. Only 2 receivers caught a pass for the Cardinals last week with Brown out. I think this is a number that you kind of wait and see on a little bit, but it sure looks like Eagles are nothing to me.
Okay, very good. And how about those Giants now with the quarterback change? Rams are hot. They've won 5 of 6. They scored at least 28 points, 5 in a row. Williams figures to have a big game against the Giants defense that's 29th against the run. Maybe the Giants get theirs too with Tyrod Taylor now starting. How do you see this game?
The discount Josh Dobbs storyline part 2 has now come to an end with DeVito moving on and Taylor in, as you mentioned. And so that's a good thing for the league, and that's a good thing for Giants fans. And it was apparently a very good thing in the market because we were at 6. Tyrod Taylor's announced in. It came all the way down to 4. And so that was a pretty surprising dip in a similar fashion to Denver, which came down quite a bit too on the QB News on Wednesday. And now we're back up to 5.5, pushing 6. We've kind of talked about a few games that I know different pros or different groups have been on in a big way. This is certainly one of them. A lot of attention from people that I really respect on the Rams at 4.5, 5, and 5.5. A lot of attention on the over as well. And the logic there is you're looking at a Rams offense that has really been clicking the last couple of weeks with Kupp now fully healthy, with Kyren Williams back. They're able to move the football on almost anyone, and they're doing it very effectively. The Giants have multiple injuries on the defensive line, which you would think gives a pretty nice window for the Rams to run the football. And then you have a Giants secondary that's pretty boomer bust against these wide receivers. And so if there's some run game to alleviate the pressure on Stafford, probably expecting the Rams to move the football pretty well. And then the expectation is that Taylor's going to have a much better chance to move the football than DeVito, and makes the Giants much more of an over team with him than they were with DeVito. And so matched up against this Rams defense, which can be had a little bit too, there's expectation that points are going to be scored in this one from those pros and those groups. And so a lot of attention here for the Rams as well as the over in the last couple days that I have seen and heard that you can think about going into Sunday.
Okay, very good. How about your Falcons? This is it, right? Last shot.
This is it.
They got to win out to go over the win total and see if Art can save his job. Quarterback change to Heineke looked pretty good in the win against the Colts, but now it's on the road where they're 2-5. Bears are hot. Defense is playing well. Kind of a low total. What do you think?
Pauly, I'm against you for the second week in a row. I got to go back to the Falcons getting 3 on the road. A lot of this worries me because it's the Falcons team going outdoors in cold weather with some wind. Not a great spot. They got to have it, though. So hopefully we see the team that was on the field last week against the Colts, which represents what this team could and should have been all season, and unfortunately has just been hampered with playmaking and decision-making that's gone wrong for 15 weeks. But nevertheless, here we are. Falcons have to win out. Why I think there's potentially some hidden value here at 3 is the fact that the Bears injury report is both pretty damning, but also maybe a little misleading too. So Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney, skilled players number 2 and 3 for the Bears, they're both dealing with injuries. DJ Moore was announced with a high ankle sprain following the game last week. He suffered it on the first play, and the expectation was that he was going to be on the injury report, and there was actually a chance that he could miss this game. You get to Wednesday, all of a sudden, he's not listed on the injury report, and he's not listed yesterday. And so it's a bit of a weird spot with the Bears because typically this is an injury that for sure has an impact week 1, but can often be multi-week. And all of a sudden, Moore just is labeled as good to go. And it's the second time in the last 2 weeks he's had an ankle injury of a different variety. I don't think he's anywhere close to 100%. And so this Falcons defense now with D-line pieces back looked a lot better against the run last week. If they can limit the run for the Bears, I'm a little concerned there's just not a lot of skill guys out there for Chicago. I'll go back to it with Atlanta. It's an ugly one again. It always is with Atlanta, but we'll do it one more time, +3 on the road at Chicago.
All right, one more game here as we wrap it up with Adam Chernoff. His podcast is called The Simple Handicap. Follow him on X at Adam Chernoff. What'd you make of the initial reaction inside the market here when the Broncos moved down all the way to 3 after the Russell Wilson benching. That news came out, going to be Jarrett Stidham, and now it's going back the other way a little bit, and has, once I think people became sane again and started to bet it back up to 3.5. But overall, what'd you think of that move down to 3 and where it's at right now?
Yeah, so again, I apologize to everyone listening for a lack of true conviction here like usual, but I think this is another really good game to talk about, similar to Rams-Giants. So Russell Wilson gets benched. That was, I want to say, Wednesday morning, first thing. Christmas days are a little mixed up, but Wilson news comes out. He's benched. Number goes from Broncos 5 down to Broncos 3. It was about 2 hours later, 2 different groups come in. They bet the Broncos 3, and they bet the Broncos 3.5. We see the movement up in favor of the Denver Broncos. And speaking with one of them, the logic was the drop from Wilson to Stidham is being viewed as too much, but also this Chargers team got their bounce back last week. Saturday night, you get the new coach coming in, the motivational spot against the Buffalo Bills. They stay close. They stay competitive. That's the historic 1-week bump after the coaching changes. Now it's back to reality, going on the road with Easton Stick. And the problem is Keenan Allen, unlikely to play. Josh Palmer, wide receiver number 2, now in the concussion protocol. He's trending unlikely to play. You take away wide receiver 1 and 2 with Easton Stick, there's just not much out there for the Chargers on the road at the Broncos facing this defense. And so all those things have come together. The point that I would throw out there is Russell Wilson. We've talked about this quarterback metric all segment. There are 45 quarterbacks in that segment. Russell Wilson, number 12 on the season, going back to week 1. And so that's a decent number, decent level of play. I get that there's a drop down to Stidham, but now that we're at 3.5, if you're betting this now, you're not that far removed from 5. You're probably going to expect Stidham to need to be kind of 16 to 20 level play. And maybe that's a tough ask to sort of have of Stidham coming in after not playing all season. I'm not really sure, but certainly an interesting market. A lot of love for Denver at 3 and 3.5 from people I respect.
All right. So as of right now, the best bet probably still the Colts minus 3.5.
Colts 3.5, Sunday Night Football over, and then hate to do it, but forced to do it, Falcons plus 3.
Excellent. Man, have a happy new year. Best of luck this weekend as well.
You guys too.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adam. We'll talk to you next week. There you go. Adam Chernoff. In-pocket plays coming up in 20 minutes. We'll recap last night's betting action and win some, lose some next here on VSiN.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
It was a great game and a fun night. Each team with a defensive touchdown, parlay 77-1. Johnson anytime touchdown 45-1. Hickman 45-1. The Johnson touchdown was an incredible play. To jump up twice, bat it down, pick it off, and house it.
First of all, I love the fact that you can actually bet on individual defensive players to score a touchdown.
Yeah, that is awesome. Ford, 2 touchdowns plus 850. Ford, first touchdown 6-1. Moore, anytime touchdown plus 260. Missed extra point. Yes, plus 240. Somehow there was a scoreless quarter. Plus 155. Flacco to throw for 300 yards, 5-1. Flacco over 2.5 touchdowns, plus 650. Alta over 44.5, plus 325. Look ahead line, Browns 4.5, close 7.5. Rutgers, plus 4.5, went off a 3-point favorite and beat Miami. Arizona, Oklahoma under 64.5 down to 59.5. Fell 62. Arizona 11-2 ATS this year. Oh, if there was a 12-team playoff. Boston College, plus 460. Beat SMU at Fenway to start the day. West Ham went into Arsenal and won 2-0, plus 950.
Now, how about that?
That was something. And the Nuggets from 6 up to 9.5. No jaw. Illness. They beat Memphis 142-105. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos. Look at the focus on the dog here in goal. The German Shepherd, there's a hockey puck in the middle, and it's all surrounded by balls. and the owner's gonna wait with the stick to shoot the puck last. But the dog is looking right at the puck. Don't care, tennis ball, okay, don't look. All right, get ready for it. Here it comes. Finally, the puck. Give me that. Oh, nails it right with his mouth. Can you believe that?
I love it.
The whole time, there's like 15 balls around the hockey puck, and he's putting them all in the net. But the dog is staring right at the hockey puck. And as soon as he puts the hockey puck, Rod nails it right in
the dog has one job.
Yeah, give me that. And he nails it, snatches it right out of thin air. Unbelievable. Patrick Waugh, bam, give me it. That's awesome. That's phenomenal video. This guy knows how to do Vegas right. Comes to town, he's at the casino, he's playing the machines, he's got a bottle of Fireball and a bottle of a little Jack and Coke can in the other one. I mean, look at this. I can't believe they allowed him to bring it in. Probably smuggle it in.
They probably didn't. He just happened to smuggle it in the area he's sitting with it now.
I know, he's got it wide open though, right? I mean, he's advertising it. He's got the big bottle of Fireball sitting on the machine, and he's got the Jack and Coke in his left hand as well. Okay, so you had the Pop-Tart Bowl yesterday. Unbelievable marketing.
Oh, phenomenal. The best I can remember.
Oh, come on. They're gonna put him in the toaster, and he comes out, and the guys can eat him, right? And the announcer, we're gonna devour him at the end. Oh, that was great. So you have a Pop-Tart secret?
It goes back many years.
You got to do this do it at home and put
a demonstration video. People were asking for this now.
Yeah.
So for those watching the show right now, it's pretty simple. My cousin just told me the secret. 30 years ago, whatever. When it comes out of the toaster, piping hot, you grab the toaster. You just take a knife, cut it lengthwise like this. You can cut it as many times as you want, right? The Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
The frosted side. You cut the frosted side. You take a dab of butter and you put the butter inside the incision, and you let the butter do its work and work with the filling and everything. And you can put as much butter on as you want. It's an A+, and I had no idea that this existed. And I love the show Family Guy. And people were sending me this last night.
Yeah.
They did a whole song. Peter Griffin. He's singing the song, "If you never put butter on a Pop-Tart." I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I've been doing that since I was 15 years old.
Wow.
So they know. Other people, we got a tweet today. A guy said, I did one today this morning before your show started. I've been doing it since the 70s, he told me.
Really?
Yes.
I wonder how much stuff like this exists about how to...
Blows our mind?
Yeah. Well, like with food or how to prepare something.
Good question.
Yeah. Incredible marketing. All-time good. All-time bad. Lose some. Well, it was close. I can't believe how many people had Pistons money line. People who work here, and then you see DraftKings tweeted out, it was the number one bet.
Yeah.
Pistons money line catching 17. Well, they're up 21, but they lose in overtime to the Celtics. They lost their 28th game in a row. That's tied for the longest in 4 major sports history. They go for the record Saturday. They play the Raptors at home.
The thought was,
oh boy,
one of the biggest point spreads we've had in a long, long time. Also, the Pistons want to avoid that, obviously. The Celtics have lost to bad teams over the last couple of years.
Yep.
With that big of a payout, people wanted to bet a little to win a lot. And oh, by the way, the Celtics were laying 15 in the second half, and they covered.
Yeah, they got that too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely. That is wild. 28 games in a row. There's a road trip coming up, too. They bet if they don't win Saturday, this could get to 35. Timberwolves from 9 up to 12. No Luka, won by 8. SMU from 9 up to 13.5. Lost outright. And what has happened to this once proud program? Miami is 1-11 straight up in bowls since 2007, and on a 2-12 ATS run in bowls.
I did not realize that.
What a disaster. Doesn't matter the coach. Horrible.
Well, and it's going to be the same thing with this guy. He will bring in talent.
Oh, God.
We saw it again yesterday. It's tough to watch. The clock management struck crystal ball again. He's a really good recruiter, and that's all I can say about him.
Yep. Lose some? Let's go down the road. Green Valley Ranch Casino. Tuesdays, they have all-you-can-eat tacos and tequila for $30. And look at this. Now, there's a long wait, but also it gets rowdy, apparently, which I put under lose some because the crowd gets a little rowdy and the natives get restless. But what's an all-time great deal. All-you-can-eat tacos, and it's not look at those. Look at these tacos. Look how good this looks. All-you-can-eat tacos and tequila for $30. Incredible marketing.
I think I've walked by that restaurant 100 times.
Yeah.
I've never eaten there before. I've always thought about it.
I've been there once, right. Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, how about Mikal Bridges for the Nets? He did an interview. He's had Chipotle every day for 10 years. Is there... what? I didn't even know where to start.
Do you buy it?
I do buy it.
You do?
Remember the Yelich thing? Yelich ate it every day in the minor leagues, he said.
Yeah.
But why? What would you eat? The same thing? Same thing?
I couldn't do it. There's no
Turkey
way.
sandwich, chicken fingers, no?
I get tired of the same thing
I
after
know.
3 or 4 days. So
Right.
like, I got to tap out.
I got back into A&W root beer.
Okay.
And I'm like, I drank it like every day. I can't do it. I'm sick of it already. It was
are
a
you?
week.
Yeah,
I went back to Coke.
I drink coffee every single day, probably 2-3
Right.
cups. Once in a while, it hits me. I'm like, I can't do it today.
Chipotle every day for 10 years.
What would you need for that?
That's a big meal. I know he works out. He's a basketball player, but that is nuts.
So does he go to the same one? It's right next to where he lives?
I don't know.
Or
I guess it's
does he have a hankering every day at like 11:30? I got to get my Chipotle in.
I guess it was like Jared from Subway too, though. He would eat it every day, but lost weight. But then,
Well, then he saw like a
Right.
path to.
yeah, it was also healthy. But he, turned out to be a nut.
Yeah.
This was blowing up on social media again. I can't believe it's even asked. You have to survive 20 minutes with one of them for $100 million. Who are you picking? Who's picking the gator? It's the bear, the tiger, the hippo, and the gator. What are we doing here? If you pick the gator, you should be deported. Hippos are 4,000 pounds and they can scoot. The bear, you get cornered by a bear. We've all seen the movie Revenant. Come on. And then the tiger?
No.
Come on. We played that video 2 weeks ago where the guy hits the gator with a frying pan over the head,
Yeah.
and he beats it. He said, I've had enough. And he leaves. I mean, go on. Get out of here now. Go on.
So you're saying the only option here is the gator?
That's right.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only one I
Who's
would
picking-
consider.
Right. You can't pick anything other than the gator.
Yeah.
I wasn't clear? Was it? Yeah, absolutely. You can't pick anything other than the gator. I have to survive with 20 minutes with one of them.
You'll be dead in 30 seconds with the tiger.
Yeah.
The bear, you might have some wiggle room to last like a minute and a half. You can scoot maybe around the hippo for the first, but once he tracks you down, forget about it. You actually have a puncher's chance against the gator to survive for a little while anyway and get out of there.
You can run away. You can
You
hit
can
him over the
confuse
head.
him maybe.
Eye gouge.
How do they
something?
What's their radius like? They're
Yeah.
not going to be. Come on, you can just run them. You can get them dizzy, run them around in circles.
Yeah. I played
Great idea for a TV show.
I played Hungry Hippos as a kid. Maybe the kids have the wrong idea. They are fierce. They are nuts.
Oh, yeah.
These hippos.
Is this when you were a hungry hippo, or
as a fatty?
before
That's
your
right.
fat days?
Now I thought the Baron von Raschke was the claw. Is the Von Erich the claw now? The Iron Claw?
I want to go watch that movie.
Did you see the Rick? A lot of people say the Ric Flair thing blew it though. They say great movie. The cast. Everyone in the world can do a Ric Flair except the guy that plays Ric Flair in the movie.
No.
It's horrible. You haven't seen it?
No, I have not.
Oh, it's god awful.
Oh,
Everyone can do
no.
it. Woo!
You're right, of
We've
course.
interviewed him. Great guy. We interviewed the guy's hilarious. Everyone can do a Ric Flair except the guy who plays Ric Flair in the movie.
I haven't seen that
It's
part yet.
terrible. New customers can bet $5 and pocket $150 in bonus bets. Get the NBA League Pass for the rest of the season. Download the app, promo code VISA when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Learn to love it. Woo! Great job, guys. Yeah, I wasn't clear. It's the obvious. The only pick is the gator. And I don't know, mashed potatoes, stuffing, maybe a turkey BLT club, chicken. I have to eat the same thing for 10 years?
Can't
Come
do
on,
it.
Bridges.
Nope. No way.
Yeah, that's nuts.
We saved the best for last.
We did.
It was the soak of the year, man. That might have been the win-lose of the year right there.
Oh, God.
In pocket plays, what we're betting this weekend next here on VSiN.
He'd know if the quarterback was on coke, if his girlfriend was knocked up.
These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your unborn children's children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
All right, baby. We got a huge soccer card today with the lower leagues. Premier League taking off. Championship League, League 1, League 2. Let's get at it. Ipswich Town, QPR over 2.5. 10 of the last 12 Ipswich matches have gone over 2.5. We've been hot with the soccer and the totals. Let's go over 2.5. That's today in the soccer. Couldn't find a side, though. I wanted to. I'm with Chernoff. I love the Colts here. Making a big mistake sticking with O'Connell. Can't play. Doesn't give you the best chance to win. I like the Colts at home. Bears laying 3 against Atlanta. I'll go against Chernoff on that one. Don't get the Dallas number against the Lions. I love the Cowboys. It's a bad spot for Detroit. Hangover celebration. Won the division for the first time in 30 years. I'm going to trust the team that's won 15 in a row at home and 7-0 this year straight up and 6-1 ATS and averaging 40 points per game at home. Detroit couldn't stop Mullins. What do you think is going to happen with Dak and Lamb? Tampa laying 3 against the Saints. Carr, I live and breathe. Carr doesn't win games like this. He's not going on the road and winning this game. Mayfield's hot. They won 4 in a row. They've been great offensively during this streak. 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. Completion percentage, Nurse, of 63%. They keep it going. They clinch the division and cover. We got one in, first of the leg, with the Browns-Cowboys moneyline parlay, which paid better than the teaser. Great job by the Browns and Flacco. And I don't get it. I'm not saying it's an upgrade, but it certainly doesn't warrant a line move in the other direction, going from Wilson to Stidham. You're right. The Chargers stink. And you've got that huge, let's win one for the Gipper after the embarrassment to show everyone and show out on Peacock on Saturday night to hang around. I think Stidham will do well and fare well, and the Broncos win and cover in that one.
All right, recapping last night's action. Did the same game parlay. Flacco and Simeon to throw an INT. That was plus 134. That's what I found it up at. People found it at higher than plus 160. So good job shopping around. It's not
if you had the pick 6 for both teams too, right?
Oh, the 77-1.
77-1.
So that was a winner. Arizona money line in the bowl game. That was a winner. They were up 13-0.
Right.
They then trailed 24-13, and then they won 38-24.
God, if we would have had the playoff this year.
They lost once in regulation by 3 points to Washington. That's it.
Lost in overtime.
Overtime.
USC and Miss State.
Yep.
That's right.
How good is this team?
Oh,
to finish the season like this.
This was perfect. This was a big reason why the 12-team playoff is the nuts, and just for reasons like this. Arizona, Missouri.
That's exactly right. So those 2 were winners. Here's what I'm doing. This is a way for me to hedge Dallas to win the division. I got them at plus 650 a couple of weeks back, talked about it on the air. I don't think they're going to win their division. They need so much to go their way. I'm hedging. I'm taking the Eagles to win the East, tied it in, the Alabama money line. That pays plus 150. You guys talked me into this. Colts minus 3.5, minus 110 against the Raiders. And I'm going to go first half game here. The Niners average about 16 points per game in the first half. That is top 5 in the league. On the flip side, the Commanders are the worst team in football. They allow 17 points per game in the first half. I think we're going to get an explosion by San Francisco after what happened on Monday night against Baltimore right away, and it's going to come in waves. So I'm going to go first half over 24.5. That's minus 105, pending Steelers plus 3.5, minus 115 against the Seahawks, and I'm all in on this Alabama side. Money line as well, plus 105 against Michigan.
There you go. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Get a daily email recapping all the best bets, every host and guest. Unlimited access to the vsin.com/picks page. Sort by sport, matchup, date, and more. Check the leaderboard to view betting records, profit, ROI, who has the hot hand, pro picks, betting splits, power ratings, 24/7 video access. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today, $9.99, vsin.com/subscribe. I didn't see how high the odds went up and paid, but I talked about the alt numbers and bet those with Flacco. I mean, he had like 290 at halftime.
Yeah, 296.
To get to 300 was 5-1. To get to 330 was 12-1.
Oh.
I mean, he could have had 400 easy.
Wow.
But then you lost more. You didn't have Cooper. And then the Jets made some adjustments and shut him down in the second half. But this Flacco story, and if you were on board, congrats, you got paid.
Oh, there were a ton of bets that came in. All the Elijah Moore bets came in.
Right. Good job by Mr. Rizzo.
Yeah. Everything on Njoku, but anytime touchdown came in.
Yep.
It was all good last night.
Right.
Okay, so today's a sad day here on this show because the guys behind the glass do not get a lot of glory. And we have an excellent crew. And it's a young crew, and yet they're phenomenal at what they do. They're extremely hard workers. And Sergio Sanchez was born and raised here in Las Vegas, and he is bolting for the East Coast early next week. He's been on this show and getting up, who knows at what time, probably like at midnight to come in and work the show. And he's done it, and he never complains. And he's always like, he's kind of like when we lost Mikhail, always in a good mood, smile on his face. He went to the military, Air Force, a couple weeks ago. So Sergio is going to bail. This is how good Sergio is at his job. And a lot of the guys behind the glass make this show and make us look good on a daily basis. It's some of the bits that we've done over the years. For example, Track to the Future. We were doing this for a while. But look at how talented Sergio is by making something like this. And it came in.
Where Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard are going, they don't need roads.
Great Scott!
Looking back at the bets they've placed.
If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
And analyzing the market to find new ones.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, it's a quick fly fish.
It's time to check in with VEASAN's Flux Capacitor. This is Track to the Future on Follow the Money.
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
I mean, it looks tremendous for the TV audience. Sounds great for the radio audience as well. Look at the graphics that he created. Boy, this is so far over my head. I can't. What's it like growing up today? And you get used to all this stuff with the editing and stuff like that. I have no idea how to do any of this stuff, right?
Sure, it's everything. Computers and all this, everything one click away.
Here was Fire and Ice.
In the sports betting realm, everyone is looking for an edge.
You might not have my name. You have my blood.
It doesn't matter if you are up or down.
Lannister always pays his debts.
Success is not measured by effort, only by results.
And I will take what is mine with fire and blood.
Who you back and when you do it is crucial.
Everyone who isn't us is an enemy.
Knowledge is your greatest asset.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard are here to guide you on your quest.
Winter is coming.
This is Fire and Ice.
So you were Daenerys, but also...
I can't believe I'm Mother of Dragons. Come on, I get to be... I'm a Lannister.
Yeah, you're Jamie Lannister at the end as well.
Yeah, that was great at the end.
Great job with doing that.
Best show of all time, not even close. No one's close to it.
Oh, not even close.
Not even close. I know it didn't end well, but, you know.
So this is a mystery segment that we never did, actually. We're going to go in fresh, again, courtesy of Sergio. What is this one called?
Oh, good.
Good Bettas?
You're the captain. I'm the consigliere. And Lombardi's the boss. Oh, that is good.
Pauly Howard, 1985. As far as I can remember, I always wanted to be a handicapper. 3 decades of life in the mafia.
God. That is great. All dressed up. Beautiful.
So anyway, Sergio, man, great job over the years. And good luck. It can be a scary spot. I mean, when you moved out here to the Midwest, 24 years old?
Oh, I got stories, man.
Well,
no, younger than that. I moved across. I was 22, out of Minnesota, college, moved across the street from a strip club in the Hard Rock Hotel, which was open.
The stories that we could do a separate podcast once a week, and we would never be able to tell all the stories from early days in Las Vegas.
That podcast would be enormous.
Here's one. Pauly and I locally used to do a show 10, 12, 13 years ago, and we did it this time of year, every single year, called The Drunk Show. And we did it for 3 years, and it was super popular, and we would do it at like a remote location where listeners could come down, they would buy us drinks, and the point of it was to prove like how intoxicated you could get on the show in like a 3-hour span, and we got just wasted. But it was brought to you by a company out here called Designated Drivers, and we were trying to prove a point, like there's no way that we could drive. We had to have people drive us home, and they did a great job. They would come and get you and your car wherever you were and drive it home. This is before Uber, before Lyft. It was a great organization. Yes. After 3 years, the third episode of the show, we got it shut down because we were just way too far over the top with what we were saying on the air, the third show, and we couldn't do it anymore. The point is, you have so many options now at your fingertips this weekend, and I know everybody likes to go nuts for New Year's. Do not drink and drive this weekend. Uber, Lyft, if there's something like Designated Drivers wherever you live, if you've had too much, absolutely do not get behind the wheel this weekend. It's so avoidable today that you have to take every possible precaution to make sure that you're going to have, a DD for your way home. And I wish we could do those shows again. They were a lot of fun. But
oh boy,
when the operations manager brings me into his office after the third one and just goes, "You're never doing that ever again." Like, it
was bad.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I blacked out on one of them. Oh. I'm lucky. Yeah, it's good. Also, we have one of the biggest shows in the country. Let's try to keep some of these good people that we have, too. Not lose them to ESPN and other stuff.
Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you Monday.